Welcome to the GFSSL League. We have the owner of the Giants. He also will bring us breakdowns of the rookies and things that he's seeing out there in the media. So what you seeing so far?
A lot of hype for this season coming up. It's going to be a good one. I got a good feeling. There's going to be a lot of people talk about the competition that there's going to be, and I think there's going to be some good stuff. I mean, I played 2 scrimmages against 2 of the owners. I tried some new stuff against the Chargers owner last night, and that playbook was no good. But, this is the time of year to work through what you're trying to work through to get ready for when it actually counts. So.
Yeah, so what's your personal opinion as far as the gameplay of Madden? Now you've been able to play a couple of scrimmages.
I like it. The outside run is still broken like it was last year. It's, real easy to abuse the outside stretch handoffs, which, was a problem in 23 for a bit. So some sliders were changed in some leagues. But other than that, the run blocking is a lot better. Pass protection seems perfect right now. I really like where the game plays at. It's definitely a little bit harder to pass down the field, but it should be. It shouldn't be easy. So.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's pretty good.
So you've been able to go through, a league as far as a season, and you've been able to go through the draft and things like that. So how do you feel as far as the whole process of that side of it?
It's pretty similar to last year. I mean, obviously now you can restructure contracts, but I think if you're not careful with that, that's really going to kill some people. Like, they might restructure some deals, make some cap for this year, but they really kill themselves down the road. So everyone should be really, really careful what they're doing with that. Scouting seems a little bit pretty much the same as last year. The draft is completely the same. There's some changes to some stuff, but other than that, I think it's pretty similar to last year.
Okay. Now, what players?
If you're used to playing in the league, it shouldn't be too much of an issue.
What players were you able to see as far as like maybe the go-to guys? Is there any guys you feel like should be on teams' radar?
In terms of like what?
In terms of like the players, the draft, some of those guys. Did you remember any names?
I think the draft classes are going to be, they're not like how it's been in the past where it's been like there's like a pool of draft classes. They're all auto-generated this year.
Oh.
So I think it's going to be different. But, one thing I noticed, I drafted a superstar development linebacker in the middle of the first round, and he can't tackle for crap. So I think there's going to be, one of the things I was reading is prospects this year, they might have some really high ratings in some areas and just be completely garbage in other areas. Like, they might be upper 90s for coverage, but they might not be able to, again, tackle, for example. I tried to do some training with that linebacker who I drafted early in the first round, and he could not tackle like a 70 rated running back. He was, every time I tried to do anything other than just a wrap tackle, he would, the 70 rated running back would just bounce off of him. So I don't think you're going to see you'll see people be successful with younger players, but I think it's going to take a little more time. But the training camp stuff should help with that. You get a lot of experience pretty quickly in the off season for a young star.
So how do you feel as far as no preseason games? Are you for it or are you against this?
I'm definitely for it. I don't like playing preseason. I just want to get to the stuff that matters. I definitely want to do my training, but I'm not wasting my time playing preseason games. You can spend your time playing my computer because you won't see me playing a preseason game ever. I'm there for the games that matter. Those 3 games are useless. And it's going to be the same 3 teams probably every year, just like in every other Madden. So I'm not really too worried about it.
So you opened up against rivalry, the Dallas Cowboys. You've been able to hear his interview. You've been able to hear Young Manning's interview. So how do you feel from based off of those interviews you've been able to hear?
I just hope Massive can bring it for a full 4 quarters because I know that's his big thing, right? So it's going to be fun having someone who knows what they're doing in my division. I hear the guy who plays the Eagles is pretty good too. So, yeah, it should be a good division.
Yes, yes, I agree.
I'm looking forward to it. It shouldn't be too tough. I still predict, pretty successful seasons. I'm not going to back down from that. And yeah, I might have tried to move to the Chargers just because I wasn't afraid of anyone, just a better roster to start from. And I think everyone's trying to start with as good a roster as possible. And honestly, I hate the Giants, so being them kind of is a thorn. But it's easy for me to like make my team because I have no attachments to any of these players. So, right now I'm the Giants, and I'm gonna. I don't know, I think what Mike said it or Judge said it. It's pretty accurate. In a few seasons, I'm going to have my roster, and it's going to be lights out for the NFC East. Regular season wise, I fall apart in the playoffs, but regular season games, I'm going to kick some butt always. I'll lose in the wild card round pretty much every year, but I'm going to be making it every year. So
Yes. So as far as the upcoming games, as far as the games that you are very highly excited about, for me, it's the Bears and the Packers. I want to see that game. I think that's going to be a
yeah,
very interesting game. What about you? Is it any games the upcoming season you're excited to see?
I mean, other than every one of my games, yeah, I'm excited to see the Ravens play. I hear he's pretty good. I'm excited to see my interdivisional games, see the Cowboys and Eagles beat the crap out of each other. Hopefully, both are each other's quarterbacks and make it easier on me. There's nice long-term injuries to some other teams' quarterbacks. But no, I like the fact that everyone's pretty involved so far. So I don't watch a ton of other people's streams, but I'll probably tune in more often than I normally do, just because I think there's a higher level of competition here than we've seen in other leagues. I mean, certain people are playoff teams in other leagues, and here they're going to win 4 or 5 games maybe. So it should be interesting.
Yep, I agree with you. I think that it's going to definitely be interesting, especially those Cowboys and Giants. I mean, that game there is definitely going to be hyped up. Then, as I said before, you got OJ going against Mike. There's been some chatter going back and forth. So I'm having a hard time to see which one going to be the games of the week.
Yeah, I'm honestly ready to see the Texans play the Titans. Here the Titans user's pretty good, and I'd like to see what you got. So, I mean, we really haven't heard from you about what you think about your team. So, I mean, what do you think? How are you liking that terrible Texans roster? I mean, if there's a couple of pieces, but there's not a lot there. You got to have a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah, for me, obviously the quarterback position is questionable. We have C.J. Stroud, then at wide receiver John Mechie. But right now, it's definitely going to be a work in progress for us. I'm pretty much going to have to get in and start from scratch because a lot of those guys, their overalls it's not helping us, especially with a no switch league. It's going to be definitely difficult for me starting out. But once I get my team the way I want it, I think I better compete. I'm hoping we can have a preseason, so we can get those ratings up a little more. But we got beat down 28-3 last night.
Who'd you play last night?
It was actually against the Dolphins.
Okay, so either he's real good or you've got a long way to go. So we'll see.
Yes, that's what I was. Well, I'm actually talking about the real life Texans.
Oh they got a long way to go. The Dolphins are a pretty decent team in real life. So the Texans roster has a long way to go in real life. I think it definitely plays more to Madden because there's a lot of like C.J. Stroud, whatever he is in real life. In Madden, I'm sure he's got talent out the butt. So I mean, as long as you know how to develop a quarterback, you should be fine there. We'll see if he actually develops in real life. Like, we'll see. But
yes, as far as wide receivers go, do you have any wide receivers that you got up for grab, or are you trying to keep them all?
One of my older receivers. I've had a bunch of the younger guys like Paris Campbell and Jalen Hyatt from their rookie this year, who are going to get a lot of play time for me. But I mean, I have right now, I know the roster's going to change, but Cole Beasley's on my roster and Sterling Shepard, who's going to there's no way I'm re-signing him after I think his contract's up after this season when I went through I do have all my older receivers on the block. I've got a lot of younger guys who have a lot of speed and a lot of talent. So, I mean, We'll see. I like speed and size. I got a couple of guys who are like 6'1" and have like 93, 94 speed. So the Giants have a lot of athleticism at a minimum. They're not like overall ratings wise, they're not going to kill anyone, but they're talented athletically on both sides of the ball at skill positions. A lot of they have two rookie corners who they don't have great coverage skills, but they're fast. Also in Madden, that's half the battle. So.
Yeah, it's safe to say Cole Beasley would be very excited to go against those Cowboys. I think that's going to be definitely some great to see. I'm sure that's one that's circus for him.
Well, Cole Beasley will not be making it out of camp with my Giants. I'll tell you that much. I'm not a Cole Beasley fan, and I don't need, the conspiracy theorist on my roster when I have a bunch of young guys who know what they're doing. So he'll be free for someone to pick up if they want to play him against the Cowboys, but he won't be a Giant. I'm sure. I don't even think he'll make it out of camp with the real Giants, so I probably won't have to worry. But if he does, I'm still probably gonna send him back. And just he doesn't fit my scheme. I don't need a slow slot receiver. No, I don't need that.
Yeah. So, is it any free agents that you looked at that you were able to see that you may want to kind of shoot for?
Not really. I mean, the roster's going to change with all the cuts before we start, so I'll probably take a look then. But I really haven't spent too much time worrying about how my roster is going to build out. My team's pretty solid right now. I'm going to be changing to a 4-3, so I mean Dexter Lawrence in the middle is going to be pretty tough. The Giants actually are looking at a pretty solid team to start with, considering where I came into the league. I could have got stuck with the Commanders, and they have like one piece, so at least I have a bunch of pieces. But I'm super active in the trade market always, so I like to move picks early to get players, but eventually I'm all more about kind of like I'm like a development warehouse. I'll develop your players, you give me the picks, and we'll go from there, right? Like I'm very good at developing players, so people will be trading for my draft picks down the road. I guarantee it.
Yes,
And
again,
Daniel Jones will now be my forever starter. He's been pretty solid in my two scrimmage games, but nope.
So now that you've been able to get some games under your belt, do you still think that you will win 13 games every season?
So I was super confident after I scrimmaged one of our other owners because I won by 4 touchdowns, and I was like, all right, yeah, I feel pretty confident. But then last night against the Chargers, I got a little bit of humbleness that I needed. I mean, I lost to him, but I was trying new stuff. I was running read option because I got Daniel Jones, and I'm not normally an option runner. So I definitely think I can handle the Chargers and teams like that with my normal grounded pound format that I like to. I'm more like a like a late '90s Denver Broncos offense. I'm gonna run the ball down your throat and short pass game you to death, and then make you make mistakes on defense. I try not to give up big plays. If you're going to score on me, typically it's going to be longer, drawn-out drives, and that's why my defense works, because it's hard for someone to have a 15-play scoring drive without making at least one mistake consistently. I'm pretty good at that just because that's my gameplay style, but, like you've talked to people. Most guys here, not all of them, but a lot of them are more gunslingers, and you're not going to be throwing the ball down the field on me. You're going to have to take what you get, and that's going to be it. And eventually you're going to throw a pick or 2 or 3 or 4. Just ask Justin Herbert last night in the first half. He threw a lot of picks. Then I'll give the Chargers owner credit. He made a lot of adjustments, but I think he started like 3 of 15 passing before he figured out my very soft vanilla scheme I was running against him. So prepare for a lot of low-scoring Giants games. I guess the Eagles owner is a gunslinger who likes to put up a lot of points but doesn't play a lot of defense. Somebody made some comments that against some of the better users, he'll have to figure out how to play some defense because he's not going to score a ton. I'll say that. I think to win in a league like this, you have to be able to play on both sides of the ball. You're not going to be consistently, winning, having late 20s, early 30s picks if you're not playing defense. You got to know how to use a safety a bit and a linebacker consistently. If you're a defensive line user, you're going to get dominated. No offense, because that's where I used to be too. I used to be a defensive line user, but I wanted to step up my game. I figured out how to, play as a linebacker, and makes a world of difference when you can control a zone over the middle. Now, you don't want people that are abusing that and overplaying their zones, and you typically won't see that out of me. I'll follow you through my zone, but when you release in a different zone, no matter how bad I want to follow that receiver, I'm going to go unless the quarterback's rolling it that way. Quarterback starts rolling and things are different. I can shadow, but if you're in the pocket and your guy comes out of my zone because you had enough time to wait, then I got to rely on my computer's going to be in the right place, and that's part of being in a no switch league too. Like, you can't just do it all on defense. You got to rely on your play calling, and same thing on offense. You have to rely that pass you threw is going to be somewhere where your receiver can get it, because you're not going to be able to switch and make the catch with swerve into it, right? You got to, and I think that's where a lot of people, even people who are used to it, are going to struggle early, because the 2 games I had, the down the field passing is just broken. It doesn't seem like it's rewarded very well. I think I completed 1 pass over 20 yards in 2 games. I was trying. I'm not the best passer in the world, but I'm not terrible either. I'll put up 4,500 yards passing a season, so I'm pretty pass happy. But it was tough to throw down the field. So
Yes, I've been hearing a lot of users talk about how difficult it is to pass. I heard OJ, Mike, a lot of them spoke about that. What makes it so different in this Madden than the previous Maddens, of why it's so difficult to pass?
Defenders know what they're doing. The computer defense is a lot smarter, it seems like. They play better positionally. And that might change with updates, but right now zone defense isn't as broken as it used to be. It actually works. Man defense, people actually cover. Coverage actually seems to work this year so far. So like, I tried to throw a pass last year. Well, last year would have been a touchdown for sure, where you throw it down the field on a streak and you lead it to the inside, and your receiver will move into it and catch it. That did not work last night. That route got jumped, and it was back pretty easily. So it seems like AI defenders actually know what they're doing, which is good, because it's going to make people actually figure out how to actually pass the ball, throw to open receivers. So it's be good.
Couple more questions as far as because we will do like in live commentary over the games. So like, I would try to do like games of the week where if you're recording, we could kind of like talk about the game, like this player should have did this, or that player should have did that, just to add a little more creativity. So I want you to be able to be a part of it too.
Absolutely.
And then as far as Saquon Barkley, I mean, would he be top 5 in rushing?
He's going to be top 3, and it's not going to be number 3 or 2. I'm going to ride that bell cow as far as I can. I mean, there were some moves that he was able to make yesterday that it's going to be hard not to want to re-sign him. The contract that he wanted after my first sim season was stupid. It was like $14 million a year but it's going to be hard to say no to that. He's an easy back to run with, is all I'll say. And he gets downhill quickly. Like, he's fast to the outside, but he'll also run over a linebacker if you need him to. So that's my style. I'd like more of a power back kind of guy. So the fact that he's both, he's fast and powerful, it'd be hard to get rid of Saquon Barkley, considering he's only 26, and in Madden, running backs don't just fall off a cliff. So we'll see. I mean, I'll probably draft a running back, but Barkley's definitely in the plans for now. And he's going to be hard for the NFC East to defend, because Giants' offensive line's good, and he's a monster. So,
yeah. Well, that sounds great. Well, the Texans will be getting ready to take the field on tomorrow, and we definitely want to scrimmage against those Giants. Are you open to scrimmage and beat me down?
Absolutely. Look, I'm even wearing my Texas Rangers hat.
Go Texas!
So, I'm ready, dude. Whenever you want it, we'll go live and put on a show for everybody.
All right, sounds great. Well, I'll contact you sometime tomorrow, and then we can get those guys on the field.
Sounds good.
I appreciate you for joining. And is there any final things you would like to say as we continue to try to talk more and more football until we get closer to the season?
Yeah, this Madden's a lot different. So if you haven't actually gotten your hands on it and played a little bit, you're going to struggle early, but everyone will be able to figure it out eventually. And then, as everyone else has mentioned, no switch is tough. If you're not used to it, you're going to get frustrated a lot on defense on balls that, you normally switch and pick. you actually have to learn how to play call. So learn how to play call and learn how to use her, like I said before, and then you'll be fine.
Sounds
Don't
great.
fall for the double move.
Sounds great. Well, I get my guys together tonight and we'll go over our plays and playbook and things like that. And I'll contact you and we'll get those guys ready to put a little joint scrimmage.
All right, sounds good.
All right, sounds great. Take care.
All right, you too, buddy.